Hello and welcome to Dubai Life. My name is Shaban. Today's video is about understanding the cost of buying a vehicle and renting a vehicle in Dubai. At the end of this video, it will be easier for you to decide whether you buy a vehicle or rent a vehicle. You will take a decision based on reliable information. This video will benefit people who are new in the United Arab Emirates or in Dubai and they have a driver's license, but they're wondering if they should buy the vehicle or rent a vehicle for a short term or long term. The video will also benefit those who just got their new driver's license, so excited to get behind the wheels, but they're not yet sure if it is better for them to buy a vehicle or rent a vehicle. So these are the people who will benefit mostly from this video. This video will not address issues of purchasing a vehicle. If you're wondering whether you should buy a new vehicle, used vehicle, whether you should buy with financing or cash down, this video will not address that point. However, there will be another video for that issue, and if you're watching for the first time, I suggest you subscribe to this channel so that when the video comes out, you will be the first to know. And if you like the content, please give it a thumbs up, share the videos, and let's get started. We shall start by looking at the costs involved in purchasing the vehicle if you own a vehicle, and also the cost involved if you are renting a vehicle. At the end, we shall be able to compare the advantages and disadvantages and finally decide who should rent a vehicle and who should purchase a vehicle. Let me put up this small chart. This chart is divided into two. One side is owning or purchasing a vehicle, the other side is renting. And let us try to get down to each and every cost that is involved and who pays it and who doesn't pay it. The first cost we're looking at is purchasing the vehicle. This is only for people who are going to own. You have to incur that cost. You have to spend that money to purchase a vehicle. Now, depending on the kind of vehicle you want and the purpose you want it for, this will determine the price. Maybe 20,000, 30,000. That depends on your desires, your taste, and your budget. The person who is renting a vehicle will not have this cost. It's only for the person who wants to own the vehicle. So think about that amount you want to purchase the vehicle for. Two is annual registration. Annual registration only applies to someone who owns the vehicle. If you are renting the vehicle, this is not your headache. You don't have to think about annual registration, even if you rent the vehicle for more than 10 years or 3 years. Every time registration is due, the company renting it or renting it to you will have to go and do the registration. It's part of the rent amount you pay. But the person owning the vehicle will have to go for registration every year, and there's a fee to pay depending on the size of the vehicle. So the big vehicles pay higher and small vehicles pay less. The next fee you have to think about is the insurance fee. Annual insurance fee applies to people who own vehicles. Every year you have to pay for your vehicle insurance. It could be comprehensive or only third party, depending on what you want. And also the price varies depending on the condition of the vehicle, the price of the vehicle, and all those details. So if your vehicle is expensive, an insurance will be also a bit expensive. If your vehicle is cheap, then even your annual insurance will be low. Not cheap, but will be lower. Someone renting a vehicle may not have to pay this insurance, apart from some few situations where you are advised if you want to pay insurance, you can pay. But if you don't want, you can leave it. Annual RTA vehicle testing and passing. If you own a vehicle, every time you go for registration, you have to take it for passing, and you pay a fee which is about 150 dirhams, not so much, but you have to pay that every year. Someone renting a vehicle does not have to think about that. The company renting will have to go and do the registration, testing, and everything. Now at this point, let me bring in the rent amount. Renting now comes to the person who is going to rent, obviously. The one who buys the vehicle does not have to pay rent again because you've already purchased it, it's yours, you own it. But the person now who is renting, either if you're renting monthly, then you have to pay that monthly fee, depending on the size of the vehicle, the price of the vehicle. Big vehicles, luxury vehicles, higher rent amount. Cheaper vehicles, small vehicles, rent is low. So depending on which vehicle you want to rent, you'll have to pay monthly or annual amount for the vehicle. So you can compare how much it is compared to buying the vehicle. If you rent a vehicle, you have to leave a security deposit. The security deposit is just in case you have any fines on the road or any incidents that have to be charged, then they'll use that money. And any top up will be informed to you and you top it up, or any balance will be returned to you. And in case you don't commit any offenses, any traffic fines, then your whole deposit will be returned to you after maybe 30 days or 45 days. Depends on the operations of the company that you're renting from. And let us look at the servicing costs. All vehicles need to go for routine servicing, either after 3,000 kilometers, 5,000 kilometers, or 10,000 kilometers. If you are renting a vehicle, you do not have to think about this. When servicing is due, you have to just inform the company, or they'll call you and take the vehicle for servicing, and they leave you with a replacement vehicle for that time. However, if you own the vehicle, that is your own responsibility to take your vehicle for servicing when it is due. So the cost and the discomfort of going to wait for the vehicle to get serviced is all on you if you own the vehicle. What about the cost of repairs and breakdowns? Maybe a flat tire, maybe a mechanical breakdown. If you own a vehicle, then that's all your responsibility. Whenever the car breaks down, you have to take it for repairs and maintenance. However, if you're renting the vehicle, if it is a natural or due to just wear and tear and not an accident, then the company that is renting it to you will do the repairs and maintenance. Flat tire, the company will take care of it. If it's a normal mechanical breakdown and nothing done deliberately or out of carelessness, then it will be also repaired by the company. What about the cost of repairs due to an accident? If you get into an accident, whether you're renting or owning the vehicle, this will be decided by the police and the insurance company. So if you have a comprehensive insurance, it will be different. If you have a third-party insurance, it will be different. But also, who is in wrong will also matter on who will pay this. So this depends on the situation. I cannot say who will be paying this, but it depends on the situation. If you don't have any accidents for years, you will not have to think about it. But the moment you have an accident, then the police will come in to decide who is wrong and who is right. Then this will go to the insurance company. They may have to pay, but then someone may have to refund if they're in wrong. If they're not in wrong, then the insurance will take care of this cost. Another cost to have in mind is police and traffic fines. So this for either way, if you're owning a vehicle or you purchase the vehicle, if you commit any offenses, if you have to pay any fines for the police or the RTA, that is your cost. Whether you purchase and own the vehicle or you rent it, that is your own cost for any fines that will come during the time you have the vehicle. So this doesn't matter if you rent or buy. If you commit any offenses on the road, you'll have to pay the fines. Fuel cost is yours. Whether you're buying or renting, you'll have to pay the fuel depending on how much you're traveling. If you're driving long distances, you buy more fuel. If you're driving short distances, less fuel spending. So that's for both of you. Whether you rent or buy, fuel will be on you. Car washing when required, that is for both of you. When you rent a vehicle, you cannot drive it when it's dirty. You'll have to wash it when necessary. And if you own the vehicle, obviously the washing will be yours. Payment for excess distance driven. This only applies to people who rent vehicles and from only some companies. If your rental company tells you that you have a limit of, let's say, 3,000 kilometers a month, if you drive beyond 3,000 kilometers in 1 month, then the excess distance of maybe 500 kilometers or 5 kilometers will be charged separately. So this only applies to people who rent vehicles, but for one who owns the vehicle, they can drive whatever distance they want. No one will ask them to pay any extra. It will be their own fuel they spend and maybe mechanical repairs due to wear and tear, but there will be no limit on the distance they can drive. So you have to no worry about that. After explaining to you the costs involved in both renting and owning a vehicle, let me give you my opinion. You can make up your own decision, but this is my opinion. One, in my opinion, renting is convenient. So if you're looking for convenience and you're willing to pay for convenience, then go with renting, because you don't have all the headaches of repairs, registration, maintenance. All that headache goes to the company renting to you the vehicle. So you can have a peace of mind. But it's also best if you're driving short distances. If you drive long distances, then there's that additional cost extra, which you can still pay. If you want convenience, you can pay the additional cost for extra distances, or you can make up a customized contract with the company to have your distance increased per month or per year. That can also work out. Another thing is renting is cheaper short term. If you need a vehicle for less than 6 months, maybe only 3 months, you have a contract for only 3 months and you'll be going back to your country, then renting is much better. You should not go into the headache of looking for the car, purchasing it, registering it, and doing all the servicing. Then later when you don't need the vehicle, you have to go and look for someone to purchase it. Maybe you sell it on a loss. So all this headache is not required if you have short time, if you need the vehicle for short term. Just go rent it. When you're through, you just return it, and that's all. Owning a vehicle is good for someone who is driving long distances and has no problem with inconvenience. If you're going to be driving long distances across Emirates, it's better for you to purchase a vehicle. And then also, you need to know that you'll be inconvenienced maybe once a year for some of the annual payments and annual procedures of registration. But through the year, there's nothing much apart from the servicing, repairs, and maintenance. And then fines, when they come in, you can pay for them. So if you're going to be driving long distances, it's better for you to buy a vehicle. And if you have to stay long term in the United Arab Emirates, more than 1 year, 6 months and above, yeah, it's better to buy a vehicle. The cost will be a bit low. And also, in my opinion, if you intend to use the vehicle for more than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then purchasing or owning a vehicle is cheaper than renting for 3 years. If you want to stay with the vehicle for 3 years, after 3 years you can even sell it and have some money back. So in short term, the initial cost is a bit high, but in long term, if it's more than 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, then it is worth buying a vehicle. It's worth owning a vehicle instead of renting. In summary, if you need convenience, if you have a limited budget, if you're going to use a vehicle for less than 6 months for a short term, and if you're not going to be driving long distances, then rent a vehicle, don't buy a vehicle. However, if you don't mind about convenience, if you need the vehicle for long term, more than a year, and if you're going to be driving long distances, and if budget is not a problem for you, you have the money to spend immediately, then go ahead and buy and own your vehicle. If you have any questions about the topic or anything else about the United Arab Emirates and Dubai, leave your question in the comments box. If you like the video, like it, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't yet subscribed, and share the videos with anyone who may need it. Thank you so much. Watch out for the next video. Thank you.